Can all of those who are graduates of Morehouse College please stand for us so you can be recognized as coming home? As always, it's wonderful to see you. Of course, it's wonderful to see you on this special occasion of Crown Forum during homecoming. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little special and perhaps overdue. Keith Elam is a graduate of Morehouse College who many of us who graduated in the 90s era are quite familiar with. Gang Starr was the seminal group of which he was a part with DJ Premier, and he and DJ Premier were responsible during their tenure together and separately for providing a framework and architecture for progressive hip-hop music, which had involved with it, of course, social critique and also information about how it is that we can get free. We're proud of Keith Elam as being a 1983 graduate of Morehouse College. He went by the name of Guru. And today we're very honored that his family has given us the nod to hold this, the first Keith Elam Crown Forum. As the speaker for the first Keith Elam Crown Forum, we're also very excited to have Mr. Harry Allen. Again, those of us who grew up in the golden era, quote unquote, of hip hop recognize the name Harry Allen as the media assassin. He was closely affiliated with the group Public Enemy, with lead lyricist Chuck D, and of course Flavor Flav, Terminator X, Professor Griff, the S1Ws, etc. Harry Allen has been a hip-hop activist and a journalist for decades now, and is just coming off of the Nasir Jones Harvard Hip-Hop Fellowship. He's the 2016-2017 Nasir Jones, or Nas, Hip-Hop Fellow. He's going to come up here and talk to us for about 30 minutes. Afterward, he is going to have the opportunity to field questions, but we're going to ensure that you all are out of here by 12 o'clock. So without further ado, Harry Allen.
Congratulations to the President-elect, Dr. David A. Thomas. My thanks to the Creator for fashioning the universe with his thoughts and then breathing life and consciousness into it. Thanks to those who got me to the campus, Dr. David Wall Rice and Shatanya Tucker. Thanks to Dean Carter for the generous use of the conference room outside of his office as I was preparing my remarks. Thanks to Maynard Scarborough and Tion Holloway for their warm welcomes. Thanks to Mr. Davenport and Mr. Key for safe and efficient ground transport here. Thanks to Wendell for the offer of water, which I did not need, but I truly appreciated his kindness as well. I want to thank my family, especially my brother Louis, and my wife, Zakia. She is at home, but she is also here in my heart today. I certainly, most of all, want to thank all of you for being here. Students, alumni, faculty, staff, friends, and guests. It's indeed an honor to mount the pulpit on grounds as hallowed as these. Morehouse, where for a century and a half, precocious black boys have been forged into profound black men. From where, so emboldened, they have marched into the world to make manifest their alma mater's motto, et facta est lux, and there was light. Light, the light shone by men like Julian Bond, Spike Lee, Howard Thurman, Edwin Moses, Sanford Bishop, Samuel L. Jackson, the incendiary, transforming light of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the light that I see when I look into this crowd, shining from the eyes of every black person in this room, and of course, the light of Keith Elam, now sadly dimmed these 7 years, yet somehow still hot and luminous. I am so deeply honored to be the inaugural Keith Edward Elam Crown Forum Lecture speaker in this esteemed series, literally following in the footsteps of so many gifted orators, and figuratively in the steps of one called Guru. My name is Harry Allen. My title is hip hop activist and media assassin. When I was first asked to give this lecture, what I planned to do was recognize this great institution, acknowledge the distinction with which I've been honored this morning, then talk about shooting the enemy, the photos that I made of rap legends Public Enemy and their members during their salad days, before they'd made records, when they were just mobile DJs and nobody had heard of them. I am very proud of that photographic work. But the more I considered what I wanted to say about Guru, the more my presentation began to shift until it became what I am saying to you today. I don't want to linger, as many might, on the biographical details that sketch Keith Elam's narrative, that he was born July 17th, 1966, in Boston's Roxbury neighborhood to a family of education and significance. That in 1983, he earned a degree in business administration from Morehouse College. That he was, with Christopher Premier Martin, one half of the crew Gang Starr, releasing 6 definitive studio albums over a period of about 15 years, including the gold Moment of Truth. This, not to mention the 7 works that Guru released under his own name, and the frequent Jazzmatazz moniker, that he left this world far too soon on April 19th, 2010, at the age of 48. I don't want to dally on those details. Instead, what I want to do in the time remaining is ask and try to answer a question that may help get to the core of why we are here today. That question is this: what do the great vocalists in hip hop always possess? What do the great vocalists, the rappers and MCs in hip hop always possess? Is it imaginative lyrics, wild, free cadences, heart-stopping freestyles? Or is it neck-snapping beats so hard they threaten spinal injury? As a person who has been writing professionally about hip-hop since 1987, the year Gang Starr released their first singles on Wild Pitch Records, I'd say yes to all of these. But we should designate another quality, one that I'd urge determines whether an artist becomes one we champion or deride, hail or forget. That quality is timbre. 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 The perceived sound of the musical note. In other words, the greatest hip-hop artists, the ones we respect, the ones we remember, the ones who change us, always have a singular timbre. Or, to put it as simply as possible, they are uniquely and immediately distinguishable by the sounds of their voices. You know who they are as soon as they speak, and they don't sound like anyone else. This fact, I've concluded, is so elemental that we hardly notice it. Indeed, it's the quality that may be least remarked upon concerning a rapper's assets. It is almost never affirmed as part of the cause for their success. However, to the contrary, I've come to the conclusion that an artist with the most amazing lyrics and flows, but who does not sound vocally unique and distinct, will probably not have a career. Having such a voice won't get you a career, but without one, you're not likely to be more than a footnote. Just for a moment, think in your minds of the remarkable voices associated with these legendary names. Snoop Dogg, MC Lyte, Kendrick Lamar, KRS-One, Tupac, Shock G, aka Humpty Hump, Method Man, The Game, Lauryn Hill, LL Cool J, Biz Markie, Eminem, Missy Elliott, Lil Wayne, Drake, Rakim, Melly Mel, Jay-Z, Be Real, Nas, Ice Cube, Big Daddy Kane, Kanye West, DMX, Q-Tip, the Notorious B.I.G. I could keep going on and on. I could even add new artists like Lil Yachty to the list. So two things I'm getting right now. There are a lot of people who don't like Lil Yachty, and that all of you have your own lists as well. But whether you like the artists or not, whether you know these artists or not, one thing is sure, that when you hear their records, they are vocally distinct. None of them sound like any of the other names on this list. And I haven't even mentioned my own family, Public Enemy, whose two co-vocalists, Chuck D and Flavor Flav, possess two of what are among the most distinctive voices in the culture in one crew. With a unique timbre, a rapper clears space. With it, he or she signals an invitation to the listener. They do not just invite you to the forms that they create or that are suited to their tone. They also invite you to their system of logic. They hint at where this is going. Now add one more great voice to that list, that of Guru. Think of Guru's voice with its soulfulness, its dry, husky warmth, its weariness. That's the voice of a prophet. But also recall his voice's flintiness, its relative monochromality, its flatness. That's the voice of a hustler. That's the voice of 8 Ball from Grand Theft Auto 3. If you were on a corner waiting to cross the street and suddenly heard that voice close to your ear, you'd turn around, jump back, and grab your weapon. Not because it's a voice signaling danger, but because it's a voice of something worse, uncertainty. Of course, Guru also always possessed an awesomely wicked pen. Think of his lyrics in my all-time favorite Gang Starr record and their greatest music video, 1998's You Know My Steez from Moment of Truth. Consider phrases like, the horror be when I return from my real people. The horror be when I return from my real people. Or, severe facts have brought this rap game to near collapse. Or, the call of all who favor justice How many times are wannabes gonna lie? These recordings are often jeremiads, lamentations, songs of woe. But they are also calls to right action and precision of thought and courage. This is race music. This is race music. So why am I saying all of this to you today? It's for this reason. You also have a timbre. More than your voice is distinct. You are a unique creation. The world may not know it yet, but it needs the variance that you bring to a planet filled with problems. The first time any of us hears our voices on a recording, we typically recoil. Ugh, that's what I sound like? But imagine if Guru had done that. Imagine if he had said, man, I sound too raspy to rap. What would we have lost? What would have never been? Men of Morehouse, we will not see an artist like Keith Edward Elam again. He was alone. But there is another artist, a greater one. He is the infinite God. He has manifested you through his word. He has fashioned you to find and do his good favor. He brought you to Morehouse for that reason. He wants you to fulfill his will. He wants you to do what is right. And he wants you to, when you leave this place, go out and do greatness. So go, do it.
Can we get another round of applause for Harry Elam, please? So one of the things that we do know is that immediately following this, there is a pep rally right on the steps of King Chapel. One thing that I do want to ask is we're getting ready to depart just after we sing Dear Old Morehouse. One thing I'd like to ask is those who are able and who are graduates of this august institution, if you could join on stage now as we begin to sing Dear Old Morehouse, that'd be great. So we'll give you a couple of minutes, seconds to get up here. So Stacy Spann, Chiefy, I saw you out there. There you go. Come on up. Brother Allen, of course, you're invited to come as well. And as a point of clarity, there is an opportunity to ask Mr. Allen questions afterward, after we finish the college hymn, all right?